I want to talk a little bit about query letters as an agent. Obviously, I get a huge number of them, as do most publishers. So let's just talk about what makes a query letter pop and makes me want to open it and makes me want to look further about what you're writing. So the very first and most basic thing is make sure you know what that agent or what that publisher represents. Don't send me a children's book where I don't represent children's books. Don't send me a novel if I'm only a nonfiction agent. So you do your research, right? And I think that's basic level one, but not just what particular genre. It's very tight. For example, you would know that I particularly like gritty memoir, or I like health and fitness books. So you'd pitch the agent or the publisher who has a special interest or has published these kinds of books. All right. So get it right. That's the first thing. And I want to explain what the process looks like for me. Generally, most of the information I need to have, I want in the body of the email. I don't want a million attachments, and I'm going to talk about attachments in a little moment. So I want to open an email, and in the email, I get a very strong sense of what this book is. So the first thing is going to be the title or the subject line of the email, which should say query, title of the book, genre. So query, business advice, business leadership book, how to win in 1 week, right? So that's my first decision-making moment. Am I interested in business books? No, if I'm not, I'll forward it on to a colleague potentially. But the chances are that I will open it, because you have to open an email to reply to them. So the chances are the email will be opened, even if I'm not really interested in that topic, but I know a colleague who is. The second thing I want to see is in the actual now body of the email, I want to see a blurb about the book. So that really depends on if it's a novel or a non-fiction. And I really just want to equate this to the back cover blurb. I just want to see what's on the back cover of your book, which is about that much, right? I'm picking up a few books here. And in a novel book, I want that gripping, tight, well-written blurb that you have copywritten and got fantastic, and it's got your characters and it's got the hook and it's got the story goal, and it makes me excited. I don't want the entire plot revealed. I want the thing that's going to make me buy the book. If it's a nonfiction, there's two very important things I need. I want to know what's the book about and who are you? So how are you qualified to tell this particular story? Doesn't matter what it is. So I want those two things in a nonfiction. And then I want attached to that email the full book synopsis or the proposal if it's a nonfiction. So if it's the novel, I want the whole synopsis. And if it's a nonfiction, I want the whole proposal. And may or may not want the first few paragraphs or the first few chapters, first 5,000 words, first 5 chapters. Generally, we're going to ask you if you want more, because what is going to happen at that point is first decision, subject line of the email. Do I want to read more? Second thing, body of email. Is this my cup of tea? Okay. Do I like this? Is this my kind of book? It's not personal. And that's, I think, where writers get a little bit hijacked in this process. It's not personal. It may be that your book comes across my desk. It's sensational. It's about this revolutionary fitness training program. But it may just be that I've just signed another author 8 months before whose book is exactly that, and I haven't yet sold it. And the same applies to a publisher. They may just have bought out a similar book or signed a similar author. So it's not personal what we're looking for. We are looking for, is this the kind of book I like? And does this book have a market? And in novels, we're looking for a little bit of flair, so a little bit of an edge. It's why I really like a few tiny splintering details in a query letter. So for example, I'm going to give you a really personal example here. If your book comes across my desk and it happens to be set in Greece, my interest will be sparked more maybe than other people's. Why? I lived in Greece for 4 years. I speak a little bit of Greek. I go there every year for summer and run writing retreats there. So the second I see a little bit of Greek, maybe a Greek kitchen, maybe a mention of baklava, maybe it's a romance I don't know what it is, but it's that word that's going to make it pop for me. Likewise with other publishers, it may simply be that your book is about body dysmorphia and they have a special interest in it, or it's about extreme fitness and they have a child who's an extreme athlete, or it's about a long pilgrimage riding a bicycle around the four continents. And that's been a dream of theirs. So please know that we're looking at the content, like what is the book about? But we're also looking on a personal level. Is this what I'm interested in? I was using an example of a book in an earlier video, which is about a history. History is a widely read subject, right? But if you sent me a history book as a literary agent, it's not really my thing. So if I open your email and it's solid and I can see you've got a good story, good angle, it's timeless, it's going to capture people's imaginations, but it's not for me, I will then forward it on to the right person. The bottom line is, what should you expect? You should expect a reply. I find it very rude when agents or publishers don't acknowledge. And, we say, oh, we get hundreds of submissions. The truth is, it's not hundreds. Nobody hasn't got the time to read what an author spent a year of their lives, 2 years of their lives, 3 years of their lives writing. So I just find it really rude when agents or publishers don't reply. So if you haven't got a reply, send a follow-up email about 3 months down the line. Just check that they got it so you're not hanging. So we'll do another video talking about the proposal or the synopsis, which is the novel version of it, and what needs to absolutely be in that. But the biggest hook, the first thing we want to engage with is your query letter.